When you think of great food pairings, you think of things like spaghetti and meatballs, bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly, sausage and peppers.
You already said an Italian thing.
How about mac and cheese? Let's make some mac and cheese. But we're not just going to make mac and cheese, we're going to make mac and cheese with bacon. The ingredients for our mac and cheese are pretty simple. We'll start with 1 pound of bacon, 1 stick or 1/2 cup of salted butter, 6 tablespoons of flour, 1/2 teaspoon ground mustard, 1/2 teaspoon ground black pepper, 1 quart whole milk. You can use the lower fat stuff, but I mean, come on, whole milk tastes so good. 4 cups of shredded cheese for the inside of the mac and cheese. What I'm using here is 2 cups of sharp cheddar and 2 cups of cheddar jack. And to annoy the purists out there, I'm using cavatappi pasta. It's coily, it's textured, it's hollow, it's delicious. Use cavatappi pasta. I mean, you can use elbows or shells, but cavatappi's just better. For the top of the mac and cheese, we have 2 more cups of shredded cheese. This is Colby Jack. And to give us a nice crust on top of this macaroni and cheese, we have 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. Use the good ones that are seasoned, if you know what I mean. First thing we got to do is cut up our bacon. Let's get it done. Here we have our 1 pound of bacon. It's been chilling out in the freezer for a little bit to get hard, makes it easier to cut. We're going to use our chef's knife here from Scallywag Tactical. Oh, it's beautiful. If you order from scallywagtactical.com, make sure in the comments section that you tell them that Roger Nelson sent you. I highly recommend all their products. So now we're going to cut this fairly small. We're going to fry it up crispy. Now all these pieces, when they go into the frying pan, are going to separate and get delicious. All right, so we have our saute pan over here on medium-high heat. It's actually closer to medium, so just over medium heat. We're going to add our bacon to it. And we're losing stuff. All right. While this bacon's getting started, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so what makes a great homemade mac and cheese? Raj, do you know?
I'm going to guess mac and cheese.
Well, I mean, mac and cheese really only has 2 fundamental ingredients, right? Macaroni, cheese.
Well, it has to be good cheese at least.
Grilled cheese, grilled and cheese. Hot chocolate contains hot and chocolate. Now, there's more to it, man. You know that. There's always more to it. What makes a good homemade mac and cheese is a bechamel sauce, which is a basic French sauce, pretty much fat and flour with milk or cream. That's where we're going to start. Actually, we're going to start with bacon. So after that, we're going to make a roux. And a roux is just fat and flour mixed together. And it's so good. So I have some information for you about roux. And that rhymes. A roux is just fat and flour. So in this case, we're using some of the fat from the bacon with the butter. Add flour. Now, when you first mix it together, and it's just starting to get that raw flour taste cooked out of it, that's a blonde roux. The lighter the roux, the more thickening power it has, but the less flavor it has. The darker you make your roux, till you get to like a red brick state, looks kind of like a red brick in color. That's got the most flavor, but minimal thickening. And if you go beyond that, you burnt it and you got to start over. So don't burn your roux. Now, one thing that will happen with this bacon in this pan is we're going to get some little bits stuck to the bottom. That's called fond, and it's delicious. You don't want to lose that. Once we add the milk after the roux, that's all going to come up and give flavor to this, and it's going to be amazing. All right, where are my ASMR fans at? Let's get a load of this. Sounds delicious. Got a little bit of fond forming. This pan, because it's got those little raised bumps in it, will tend to get a pretty decent fond in it. And then it comes out and it's delicious. Cook your bacon to your desired level of crispiness. I like to go a little bit crispier than I normally like it, because once I put it in with the milk and the cheese and everything, it's gonna kind of soften back up. So go as crispy as you want, but then just a hair more. Not much, just a hair. Now, as this bacon finishes up, it's not there yet, but you want to have a pot of water ready to cook your pasta. So that is almost done. So you see all this little brown bits on the bottom? That is good, that is beautiful, that is delicious. Not even a minute more and this is going to be perfect. Water getting ready to start boiling over here, that's good. All right, bacon is done. Let's go drain it. Okay, I'm just going to drain this out. Use a slotted spoon. Just going to take it out and put it on some paper towel on a plate, just so some of that excess grease can come off. Okay, so there we go. All the bacon's out. This grease we're going to pour out, but we're not going to discard. That grease has use. That grease can be used to make something else delicious, which we'll address at another time. Trust me. Okay, now we got our pan back on the stove. We're going to add our stick of butter. Woo. I'm going to use a whisk. I'm going to let this melt. Beat it up as it goes, let it melt down. Right now the heat is off as this melts. I don't want the butter to burn up too quick or to brown up too quick. As soon as this is melted, we're going to add the flour, the mustard, and the black pepper. We're going to whisk it for the biscuit. All right, so butter's just about melted. Add our flour and pepper and mustard, and we whisk. Now with this, we're going to cook out the raw flour flavor. Let it get a little bit of color to it, and then we're going to slowly add our milk. Okay, now we want to slowly whisk in the milk. We don't want to go too fast or it'll clump up. I'm going to keep this moving, keep this mixing. And as we whisk, those little bits that were stuck to the bottom, I'm pretty fond of them because they're cold fond, are going to come up and make this delicious. There we go. And once this starts to get a little bit hotter and start steaming, we're going to switch back over to the wooden spoon. And you can see this is starting to get a little bit thicker. And in a minute, we're going to add our bacon back to the pool. In the meantime, we're going to put our pasta in. Now we're going to pour in our pasta. We're going to give it a stir. If you don't stir your pasta, you're going to get a clump of pasta. So don't get a clump of pasta. Now with your pasta, you only want to cook it for half of the recommended time that's on the box. In this case, it's 4 minutes. If you cook it too far, you're going to get soggy noodles in your mac and cheese. You want it to finish cooking in the sauce with the cheese and all the deliciousness. Okay, now we're going to add our bacon back in. There we go. You can break that back up. Ooh, got a little excited with my stirring. Okay, now this is thickening up nicely. We have our bacon in there. Here's the trick. We shut it off, and then as we stir, we add the cheese but we don't want to keep adding heat to it. We don't want this cheese to fully melt in and become one. We kind of want to leave it a little chunky, because that'll give us the stringiness, that pull that the cheese gets, so you can identify that it's cheese. That's where that comes from. So we want to just gently mix it in. And I'll throw cheese all over my stove because I just don't care, apparently. Dump this in. And that's it for right this second on this cheese sauce. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to let this hang out for a second. All right. Pasta is done. We'll give it a drain. Okay, now this is very important. Do not rinse your pasta. Don't do it. Add our sauce on top of this. I should turn more so the camera can get it a little better, huh? Look at that. Thick, cheesy, delicious. Give it a good mix just to get everything together. Make sure no pasta is left untouched by the delicious sauce. That pull. Yeah. That's what macaroni and cheese should look like. Next, glass baking dish, pre-treated with some cooking spray. We're going to add our pasta and sauce to this. Everybody go in. Get all them delicious bits out. Now flatten her down. Make it even. Topping time. First thing, cheese. Get this cheese all in there. And we're going to even it out. Now it's hot under there, so be careful you don't stick your finger all the way in. You will not have a good time. Nice and even. Now, with the breadcrumbs, a lot of people will toast them in butter first. I don't feel that's necessary with this, simply because the cheese has a lot of oil in it. And that's going to help it crisp up. Just want to get it, it doesn't have to be completely covering. You don't really want a pile. It's kind of packed together sitting there. Just a nice dusting. Maybe I think I used closer to 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more. That's why I poured into a ramekin, so I can get a little more right here. That's why I poured into a ramekin, because whatever I don't use, I can just pour back in. Time for the oven. All right, it's all mixed up. It's in the pan. It's got its topping on. Time for it to hang out in the oven for a little bit. 30 minutes, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's get this guy in there. All right, while that's in the oven, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you liking this video. Let's talk about you sharing this video. Let's talk about making sure you're subscribed to the channel and ringing the little bell doohickey and all that good stuff. Hey, make a comment. Tell me what you think of the recipe. Tell me if you think I'm ugly. I don't care. Tell me something. You can do that down in the comments below. If you want to see me cook something, if you have a suggestion for a recipe, hit me. I want to hear it. I'll do it. I'm starting to get some requests and I'm very excited about them. So stay tuned for those. But again, like, share, subscribe. I love you. "30 minutes have passed. It's now done in the oven. Let's see what we did. Ooh. Oh. Would you look at that? Look at that. Should we get a crunch sample?
Yeah.
We're going to let this set up for a few minutes, Figure let it rest for 10, and then we're going to dig into it. Be right back. Have spoon will travel, or have spoon will dig into this delicious plate of macaroni and cheese. The sounds it makes. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I want these little bits. All right, so Roger's over here salivating. He's just like, oh my God. So look at this, folks. Oh, it's good. It looks so, oh, it smells so good. Oh, can't wait. Look at that. We got bacon. We got cheese. We got cavatappi, the best form of pasta. Fight me on it. Eat it though. I am quivering with anticipation.
Say it. Say it.
Patient. All right. Oh, Lord. So there you have it. The smokiness of the bacon, that rich, creamy, cheesy deliciousness, the crust that's on top, it's just perfect, folks. You can omit the bacon if you'd like. You don't have to make it with bacon. You can add cubed ham and broccoli instead. You could leave the bacon in and add cubed ham and broccoli. It's up to you. Do it however you want. Play with it. Make it your own. Perfect macaroni and cheese. We'll catch you next time. Sugar, salt, fat, and booze. Sugar, salt, fat, and booze out.